Welcome. This is your easy travel guide to explore beautiful Switzerland. In the next 10 minutes, I'll show you top things to do, Swiss culture highlights, and must-see spots for your trip. Okay, so, Switzerland. I feel like whenever I think of Switzerland, my brain just immediately goes to chocolate, mountains, and those little cows with the bells. And honestly, that's not wrong. But it's also so much more than that. I recently went, and my mind was kind of blown. It's one of those places that looks exactly like the postcards. But then you get there, and you realize the postcards don't even do it justice. The air feels different. The water is this insane shade of blue, and everything is just pristine. It's wild. Alright, so first up, we have to talk about Interlaken. The name literally means between lakes. It's nestled right between these two ridiculously beautiful lakes. Lake Thun, Lake Brienz. And the water is this crazy, milky turquoise color that doesn't even look real. I remember seeing it for the first time and just being like, wait, is that edited in real life? It's not. This town is basically the definition of an adventure hub. If you're an adrenaline junkie, or even just adrenaline curious, this is your spot. The number one thing you will see everywhere is paragliding. Paragliders floating down from the mountains, terrifying and peaceful. I just sat there watching them for ages, trying to decide if I had the guts. Even if you're not trying to jump off a mountain, there's still so much to do. You can take a boat cruise on either of the lakes. Boat on Lake Thun with castles along the shore. Lake Brienz is a bit more rugged and natural. Just sit on a boat, feel the breeze, and stare at the mountains. And speaking of mountains, you have to go up Harder Kulm. It's this viewpoint you get to by a funicular, a little train that goes straight up. Funicular feels super steep, kind of a roller coaster for a second. At the top, there's a viewing platform that juts out. The view is insane. You can see both lakes and big mountains. Eiger, Mönch, Jungfrau. The whole culture here is very outdoorsy and active. Everyone seems to be either coming back from a hike or heading out on one. It makes you want to put on some hiking boots and conquer a trail. Or at least walk to a cafe that has a nice view of the mountains. The food here is cozy and hearty. Cheese fondue raclette rosti Interlaken is the perfect starting point for a Switzerland trip. It's just mountains and lakes and fresh air everywhere you look. You could spend days here just hiking the different trails. Easy flat walks along the river, serious multi-hour treks up into the mountains. There's no pressure to be a super athlete. You can just exist and enjoy the scenery. Walking around town is an activity. Cute shops selling watches and Swiss Army knives. You'll be walking down a normal street, then look up and there's a giant snow-capped mountain. Interlaken is a definite must-do. It's the perfect mix of high-energy adventure and peaceful scenic relaxation. Whether you're jumping off cliffs or just cruising on a lake, it's impossible not to be in awe. It really sets the bar high for the rest of Switzerland. Okay, next up we're heading to the capital, Bern. And I know what you might be thinking, a capital city? Is it gonna be all businessy and boring? Absolutely not. Bern is, and I don't say this lightly, one of the cutest cities I have ever been to in my entire life. The Old Town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and you totally get why as soon as you step into it. It feels like you've walked backwards in time, or onto a movie set for a medieval fairy tale. The whole city is built on this peninsula surrounded by the Ahr River. It's this stunning, clear, fast-flowing river. In the summer, you'll literally see people just jumping in and floating down it. It's like the city's natural public transportation system. I was too chicken to do it, but watching everyone was amazing. One of the most famous things in Bern is the Zittglocke, an ornate 15th century astronomical clock tower. A few minutes before the hour, this little mechanical show happens. A jester, bears, a rooster. A huge crowd gathers to watch it every time. Then there's the Bear Park. The symbol of Bern is a bear, and they have this enclosure right by the river where bears live. It's a big, grassy park area where they can roam around and swim. It's a little random to see bears in the middle of a capital city, but it's iconic. You just have to go see them. The vibe of the city is cozy. The main streets have covered arcades called Lauben, so you can shop and walk even if it's raining. It's filled with cute basement-level spots, shops, cafes, bars. You'll see cellar doors that lead down into cool, hidden places. It makes exploring feel like a treasure hunt. Culturally, it's very Swiss-German, but everyone switches to English easily. The pace of life feels slower here. People sitting in cafes, chatting for hours, enjoying the sun by the river. It's incredibly chill. You also have the Federal Palace, a massive building with a huge dome. The square in front is great for hanging out, and on market days it's bustling with fresh produce, flowers, cheese. It's a great slice of local life. Wander the side streets and alleyways. You'll find colorful fountains, murals. Every corner has something charming. It's a city meant for getting lost in. The cafe culture is huge. Coffee, pastries, people watching. I spent a whole afternoon at one cafe under the arcade, watching the world go by. It was one of the highlights of my trip. Those simple, slow moments make you feel connected. While Interlaken is epic nature, Bern is quiet, historic charm. It's lived in and loved, not just a tourist spot. Definitely a must-visit to see a different, more urban, but equally beautiful side of Switzerland. St. Moritz, a touch of luxury. Okay, so after the adventure in Interlaken and the history in Bern, let's switch gears completely and talk about St. Moritz. This place is, like, the definition of bougie. It's a luxury alpine resort town, and it has this reputation for being super glamorous and upscale, and it is. It's where the rich and famous go to ski, and you can definitely feel that exclusive vibe in the air. St. Moritz is famous for its winter sports. It's hosted the Winter Olympics twice, so you know the skiing and snowboarding are world-class. The mountains are incredible, with perfectly groomed pistes and insane views. Even if you're not a pro skier, just being in that environment, with the crisp mountain air and the sun shining on the snow, is an experience in itself. The whole scene is very chic, but it's not just a winter destination. I was there in the summer, and it was just as stunning, just in a different way. The snow melts and reveals these amazing hiking trails and beautiful, crystal-clear alpine lakes. You can go sailing, paddleboarding, or just have a picnic by the water. The landscape is so green and vibrant, it's a total contrast to the winter white. The town itself is full of high-end designer boutiques, like Chanel, Gucci, you name it. It's fun to just window shop and pretend you're going to buy a $5,000 ski jacket. There are also a ton of art galleries and really, really nice restaurants. The gastronomy scene here is a big deal, with lots of Michelin-starred places. It's a place to indulge. The vibe is definitely more polished and quiet than other Swiss towns. It's less about rustic charm and more about refined elegance. The hotels are like palaces, with grand lobbies and impeccable service. It's the kind of place you go to if you want to be pampered and just experience the finer things in life, you know? One of the cool things about St. Moritz is the quality of the light. They call it the champagne climate because the air is so dry and the sun shines over 300 days a year. It creates this special, sparkling light that artists have apparently been obsessed with for centuries. I don't know if my eye is that refined, but I will say everything did look particularly sparkly and magical. Rhine Falls. The power of nature. All right, let's talk about something that is just pure, raw, natural power. The Rhine Falls. This place is insane. It's the largest waterfall in Europe by volume. When you're standing there, you can really feel it. It's not super high like some other famous waterfalls, but it is incredibly wide. The amount of water thundering down is just mind-boggling. The sound alone is just this huge, constant roar. It's located near the town of Schaffhausen, which is super easy to get to from Zurich. It's a perfect day trip. You can take a train, and it drops you off right there. The whole area is set up really well for visitors, with different viewing platforms that get you super close to the action. Like, so close you can feel the mist on your face. One of the best things you can do is take one of the boat trips. There are a few different options, but the most popular one takes you right into the middle of the falls. It drops you off on this big rock that juts out of the water. You can then climb up a narrow staircase to a tiny viewing platform at the very top of the rock. You are literally surrounded by crashing water. From that rock, you are just feet away from the Cascades. You can feel the vibrations of the water hitting the rocks. It's a little scary, but mostly just completely awe-inspiring. It's one of those moments that makes you feel really small in the face of nature. It's a perspective check, for sure. There are also viewpoints on both sides of the river. You can walk across a railway bridge to get from one side to the other, which gives you a great overhead view. The northern bank has a park area. The southern bank is where Laufen Castle is. The castle has its own viewing platforms, including one that goes right out over the falls. For photos, it's almost impossible to take a bad picture here. I'd recommend trying to capture the motion of the water with a slightly slower shutter speed if you have a camera that can do that. Or just take a video, because you need the sound to really get the full effect. The sheer noise is a huge part of the experience. It's a super popular spot, so it can get pretty crowded, especially on sunny weekends. But because the area is so spread out, it doesn't usually feel too overwhelming. There's enough space for everyone to find a good spot to just stand and stare. And trust me, you will want to just stand and stare for a while. It's mesmerizing. Château de Chillon, a Laccaside castle. Last but not least, let's go to a literal fairy tale castle. It's this medieval castle on the edge of Lake Geneva near Montreux. It's literally on a little rocky island. It looks like it's floating on the water. Behind it are giant, beautiful mountains. It's almost too perfect. This place has so much history. It dates back over 1,000 years. It was a fortress. It was a prison. It was a noble residence. The most famous story: François Bonivard, a monk imprisoned here in the 16th century. Lord Byron wrote a poem about him. That poem turned the castle into a huge tourist draw. Walking through the castle is like being on a historical tour. You get an audio guide. I highly recommend it. Courtyards, big banquet halls with huge fireplaces, bedrooms with painted murals on the walls, and even the old toilets that drop straight into the lake. It's fascinating. The best part for me was the dungeons. It's the oldest part, with Gothic vaulted ceilings. It's dark and kind of spooky. You can see the pillar where Bonivard was supposedly chained. Then you look out the little slit windows and see the bright blue lake. The contrast is so crazy. The views from the castle are just incredible, from the windows of the grand halls or the top of the watchtower. Panoramic views of Lake Geneva and the French Alps. You can take a bus, or do what I did and walk along the lakefront promenade. It's a flat 30-40 minute walk lined with flowers and sculptures. It's a peaceful way to approach the castle, watching it grow closer. The castle is surprisingly big inside. Different levels, towers, hidden passageways. You could easily spend 2 or 3 hours wandering and getting lost in the details. Every room tells a different story from a different period. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps plan your Swiss adventure. If you enjoyed this guide, like, subscribe, and comment which spot you'll visit first. Safe travels. So, that's it. That's our little whirlwind tour of Switzerland. From the insane adventures in Interlaken to the fairy tale streets of Bern, the glamour of St. Moritz, the raw power of Rhine Falls, and the storybook magic of Château de Chillon. It's kind of wild how much variety is packed into one relatively small country. You can genuinely have 5 completely different experiences in 5 different places. I feel like I only just scratched the surface, but these spots really gave me a sense of what makes Switzerland so special. Honestly, the biggest takeaway for me was that you can't go wrong. Every train ride is scenic, every town is clean and beautiful, and the nature is just on another level. It's one of those trips where the journey between places is just as amazing as the destinations themselves. Just staring out the window of a train as you pass by waterfalls, mountains, and tiny villages is an activity in itself. It's a country that just forces you to slow down and appreciate the beauty around you. I really hope this was helpful and maybe gave you some inspiration for your own trip. It can be a lot to plan, but just picking a few key places and giving yourself time to explore them is the way to go. Don't try to do too much. The magic of Switzerland is in the moments of just sitting by a lake or wandering down a cobblestone street. So yeah, I hope you go, I hope you love it, and I can't wait to see where you end up.